International Space Station Deputy Program Manager Kirk Shireman. Kirk, thunderous launch this afternoon from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, celebrations behind you. Your thoughts and impressions as you saw Expedition 18 begin its half year?
Well, it's always exciting. It's great to be here on a beautiful day in Kazakhstan, and the launch is tremendously exciting. We're very close here, and you can feel it, feel the vibrations and the light, and feel the heat. It's just beautiful. It's very exciting, and we're glad that they're safely on orbit at this point.
The importance of this expedition, Mike Fink begins a return trip to the International Space Station, as does Yuri Lonchakov. How critical will this expedition be as we head into the final phase of station assembly?
Sure. Well, this expedition is very important to us to set the stage for a 6-person crew with the shuttle arrival next month and a tremendous amount of equipment that are required to have a 6-person crew. These guys will have a chance to install that equipment, make sure it's running, and processing water and doing all those things adequately before we launch the extra guys. It's very important. In addition, they'll be doing a tremendous amount of research. They have over 72 different investigations supporting 300 different scientists here on the ground, and so we're excited about that. So these guys will be very, very busy and making a big contribution not only to the future of space station but to the scientific community as well.
When Expedition 17 started, we had 3 first-time space travelers on board, and of course they got up to speed pretty quick. But Mike Fink becomes the first American today to fly in space twice on a Soyuz vehicle. He and Lonchakov, veterans, to be followed by other veteran Americans who will rotate in and out. How important will that be, the experience factor?
Well, it's always great to have someone returning to the space station. They know the basics. They know how to do the everyday life tasks. Of course, the space station's changed since Mike was there last. It's grown quite a bit. And of course, things move around. Different crews stored things in different places. So it'll be great to have Greg Shamatov on orbit to help the new guys orient themselves to the space station. But the experience helps them become more effective, more productive very soon, and it'll be great. For Mike, it'll be like returning home for him.
And finally, Kirk, within a few weeks, the 10th anniversary of the launching of the first element of the International Space Station, not far from this launch pad. How has the International Space Station, the symbolism, the expansion, what has this project meant to the global community?
Well, I think, first of all, you can't help but think about the space station and its 10th anniversary being here, like you say, not very far from where Zarya was launched on November 20th in 1998. And I think the space station working together has brought all the countries working together much closer together in a civil sense, not in a military sense. It's helped us all technically to be able to understand how each other does business, and certainly build the personal relationships that'll help us not only for the space station, but they'll help us for future civil space endeavors. I think for exploration it'll be a big help to us to all have cooperated and build those same relationships for building pieces of our exploration so that humans can go to the moon and Mars and hopefully beyond at some point.
Bill Gerstenmaier, the Associate Administrator for Space Operations out of NASA headquarters. Bill, thunderous start to a half-year in space for Expedition 18. Your thoughts as you saw Mike Fink and Yuri Lonchakov and Richard Garriott take off?
Another amazing launch here in Russia. I've never ceased to be amazed at just how smooth the Russians make it look, and got a chance to watch the processing, getting ready to get the vehicle ready to launch, and got to see their launch teams work and prepare and get the vehicle ready. And their true professionalism is just amazing. They do a very great job with getting the rocket ready. It's fun to see the contrast between the way they do operations here in Russia and the way we do operations in the United States. But they're both slightly different, but they both have the same good outcome. And it was great to see the rocket go into space today with Mike and Yuri and Richard on board. It was just an amazing launch day today. Very clear, very neat to see the rocket fly.
How important is this expedition going to be, Bill, over the next few weeks and certainly the next few months in a further expansion of the station, the expansion of the crew, and then setting the stage for the final phase of station?
I think this is a pretty, again, pivotal increment for us to get ready for. We got lots of things to do to get ready for 6-person crew. ULF-2 will launch here sometime in November and bring up a lot of equipment that needs to get activated and get started. So this crew will be pivotal in making sure all that activity gets done and gets completed, so we're ready to support the additional crew next year. And again, in our business, the preparation is a long time, and then the event occurs, and it looks like it's easy, and it's not. So you're starting to see actual preparation now. The crew on orbit prior to this launch had actually moved a bunch of racks already out of the laboratory in preparation for the equipment that's coming up on the shuttle in November. So that activity and preparation starts many months, almost years in advance, and this crew will be the kind of the crew that puts all that together and gets us ready to support the continued expansion of Space Station.
With Endeavour's flight, the next station assembly flight coming up in the next few weeks, then the stage is set for a very busy 2009, the Hubble Space Telescope, one of many linchpins in that formula. But you have some decisions that have to be made over the next few weeks. How do you intend to sort out Hubble versus the station assembly flight to follow?
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear right now. We'll do the ULF-2 flight next in November, and we're targeting the 14th of November. We've got a lot of stuff to do at the launch pad. The payload should be going back into the payload processing facility. That's the Hubble payload today or tomorrow down in Florida if the weather's okay. We then need to move the shuttle off the launch pad into the vertical assembly building. Then we need to move the ULF-2 stack and shuttle from its launch pad over to pad A to get ready to go launch. That'll occur towards the end of this month. So we're pretty busy on the shuttle side, moving a lot of hardware around. At the same time, the Hubble team is getting ready on orbit to reconfigure the telescope to bring up the backup data processing system for them to see if that operates and checks out okay. They're also got the replacement box in test, or getting ready to put it in test now at Goddard to make sure that box is ready to go fly. And once they understand and sort out what their schedule is, then we'll figure out the right place to put them into sequence. And right now we're looking at sometime in the February-March time frame in front of the 15A solar array flight. But we'll let the Hubble team work out their problems and understand what's going on and get the right hardware at the right place. If they can't make that launch window, we've got another opportunity in the spring, and we can move them over there. So it won't be a major interruption to us. We're going to let the Hubble team figure out what they need to go do. When they tell us what they want to go do, we'll figure out the right place to put them in the shuttle sequence.
The Russian Federal Space Agency calls the Baikonur Cosmodrome hallowed ground of human spaceflight for obvious reasons. But there's another anniversary coming up in November, and Mike Fink and Yuri will be on board for that, and as well as the STS-126 crew, and that is the 10th anniversary of the launching of the first component of the International Space Station. It only seems like yesterday, but your thoughts on a decade now of this assembly and where this project is today? Has it exceeded your expectations? Is it still amazing that something this big and function this well in orbit for this long?
Yeah, I think the 10th anniversary is just an amazing accomplishment. The perseverance of the team, the international team that had to hang through lots of tough times to get to this point is phenomenal. You know, we had the Columbia tragedy, and we needed the Soyuz to continue operations, and the Russians had to continue support. The international cooperation was just huge. And I think if I think back, the time went by really fast. It doesn't seem like it's been 10 years. It just has gone by fairly quickly. But the thing that's impressive is we were able to put together this huge technical marvel in space, or engineering marvel in space. But I think even more important is the bonds internationally we've made. You know, bringing the Europeans on board with their module, bringing the Japanese on board with their module this year. That's phenomenal. And the two control teams all working together are just an amazing time to see that international cooperation. So 10 years are just the beginning. I think we've got a lot of time in front of us. We're going to now figure out ways to utilize Space Station. It's a nice bridge to the future. All the international agreements and things we put in place, they serve a real foundation as we go to Moon and Mars. We'll be able to build on this foundation both from a international relationship standpoint and also technology standpoint as we go forward. So the first 10 years of station has been great, but I look forward to the next 10 and beyond and leading on into exploration.